Imagery. I've talked about this quite a bit, and it is such a big field that I'll be reviewing a little bit about what is imagery and how might imagery be able to help. And then we'll be going on in our assignments to give you some experience with it. And this is something that used to be so unusual, so unheard of. And now it has been studied so much with pain relief, with stress relief, helping people with their immune system, helping people in so many different ways that it isn't the kind of kooky, crazy thing that it once was 20, 25, 30 years ago when I first started using imagery. And you may have had a lot of experience with imagery because there's so much available, but just listen along. You may learn something new. It may be complete review for you. And then we'll give you some examples of some imagery scripts that can really be helpful. So for those of you who are new to imagery, imagery is a gentle and a very powerful approach, which allows us to use our own imagination to facilitate change and promote physical and mental well-being. Now, you may think that this is not possible, but for just a moment, I want you to think about something that you like. See if you can get an image of it. Maybe it's a type of food. Maybe it's a flower. Maybe it's scenery that you've seen. Maybe it's the pictures that are included in this particular presentation. And just think about it for just a moment. You don't have to see it. You don't have to close your eyes and see it. Just think about it. And just notice the effect it has on you when you just allow yourself to think about something you really like. Imagery is a state of relaxation and focused attention, and it can be self-led or guided. When we daydream, when we remember a beautiful place we are at and we think about it, we look at pictures sometimes. It doesn't have to be in our imagination. When we look at pictures and they bring us right back to a place and time where we felt relaxed or joyful. That's imagery. Guided imagery is what you'll be experiencing because I will be guiding you, and it's a big field, and it includes techniques such as simple visualizations, like I just did with you, remember something you like, or it could be metaphor, drawing on active imagination that is led by a trained practitioner. And I will be doing some of this with you. I've had years of training with imagery and took many classes with Dr. Jean Ochtenberg, who was one of the people that has done research on imagery for years, and especially research on imagery for health and healing. And as I said before, once this off-the-wall thing that no one believed in, or very few people believed in, it's now finding widespread scientific and public acceptance. It's sometimes referred to as self-hypnosis, a way of putting yourself into a calm state. So it's nice that I've been talking about imagery and this idea. Maybe you're curious, maybe you're looking forward to having an opportunity to use your imagination. Most of us did this all the time when we were children, and as we've become adults, we don't use our imagination as much as we could, and sometimes we don't use it at all. So maybe you might get curious and might be looking forward to experimenting with this. I sure do hope so. Use of imagery, as I said, has been known to be helpful with such a wide range of psychological and medical difficulties. People have used imagery for healing. People have used imagery to help them prepare for a difficult situation like a surgery. There's many different ways that imagery can be helpful. Its use for relaxation in the general population is now widely known. There are so many relaxation and imagery CDs out there that when I start doing it, it it may be something you even giggle about because you may have heard it before, and it's people have made fun of it too, which shows you how it's been generally accepted when comedians start making fun of it. It helps us slow our overactive mind, and it definitely relaxes the body. And in this very safe and comfortable state, it becomes possible to create significant changes. So, just one more slide about imagery, and then we'll be going into some experience with it. As I said before, it can be used to promote relaxation. It's really helpful for alleviating anxiety and depression, and for relieving physical and psychological symptoms. Overcoming health endangering habits, most common one there would be smoking, to mitigate pain, and it's used now quite widely to help people prepare for and tolerate medical procedures more comfortably. And there's been quite a bit of research on imagery and hypnosis, self-hypnosis, and surgery in people that are preparing for surgery using these techniques tend to need less pain medication after the surgery, tend to have shorter hospital stays, less complications, psychologically feel more confident about their surgery. That's just some research done with surgery. And I have had my own experience with using imagery at times where I was far away from medical help and I hurt myself. This happened once before, and I imagined that I had ice pack against me, and I used imagery for healing to keep swelling down, and it was able to keep the discomfort at bay until I was able to get to a place where I could get help. This was a situation where I was out camping on a holiday weekend and pretty far away, and it wasn't an emergency situation, and that would have been my only option, to show up at some emergency room at some place that I had never been before on a holiday weekend is not what I wanted to do. So I used my imagery and made it through, and then ended up going home and consulting my own medical professionals by that time, and by that time it was pretty much healed. But it was a great experience with it when I needed to use it, and it really helped. It really worked. So let's look at the next piece will be going forward and what you'll be learning, and then some of the imagery.